On September 12, 2009, attendees of a family reunion visiting Hoskins Cemetery in Clay County, Kentucky, made a disturbing discovery. The near-naked body of a man was tied to a tree with a rope around his neck. The deceased was only wearing socks. He had a red rag stuffed in his mouth and had duct tape around his wrists and ankles and over his eyes and mouth. On his chest was the word "Fed," written in felt-tip marker, while a census ID card was taped to the side of the man's neck, identifying him as 51-year-old Bill Sparkman, an elementary school substitute teacher and census worker for the United States Census Bureau. In the years before his death, Bill Sparkman had been diagnosed with stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma after a routine checkup. After treatment that left him in debt, it was found that Sparkman was in remission. In that same year, he had completed his studies and received his teaching degree. In an interview, he stated, "I'd been knocked down, but I refused to be knocked out. Those brick walls will appear from time to time in your career. Do not let them stop you. There are no failures, just teaching moments." Sparkman had wanted to become a full-time middle school maths teacher. He got a job as a census worker to earn extra money, but had once admitted that he was fearful while conducting the census work, particularly in Clay County, an area known for high drug use, low income, and being anti-government. Sparkman had even been warned to not travel alone while working in Clay County. It was determined that Bill Sparkman's cause of death was asphyxiation, with the time of death being as early as September 9th, the day he was last seen alive. An inspection of the hyoid bone showed it had been broken, which is normal in a strangulation or hanging, but the examiner also found an older, healing fracture which could not be explained. There were no defensive wounds on Sparkman's body. At the scene, police discovered Sparkman's red pickup truck around 40 yards from where his body was discovered. No footprints or other vehicle tracks were found, and there are no fingerprints other than Sparkman's on the duct tape or in his truck. It was widely speculated that Bill Sparkman had been the victim of a homicide. This occurred at the time of rising political tension and heightened concern about anti-government violence. Many would describe the crime as a lynching, and that Sparkman was killed because he worked for the government, and the offender or offenders wanted to send a message to the public and those in leadership. Due to no evidence being found at the scene, it was believed that Sparkman had been killed elsewhere and then placed on display in the cemetery. No one knew anyone that would want to hurt Sparkman, and noted that he was a kind and stand-up person. They did, however, reveal that he had a rocky relationship with his adopted son. His son had been in trouble with the law before, and when police wanted to question him, he was nowhere to be found. He unexpectedly arrived at the station a few days later and denied any involvement in his father's death. Investigators found him suspicious. He was the beneficiary of his father's life insurance policy, worth $300,000, something he denied any knowledge of until after Sparkman's death. While investigators continued to monitor Sparkman's son, another man came under suspicion. An ex-friend of Sparkman's son, who remained friendly with Sparkman, was questioned by police. The young man often accompanied Sparkman during census work for protection. The friend was also set to receive $300,000 through the life insurance policy. He denied knowing about the life insurance and denied any involvement in the death. On the day he was supposed to take a polygraph test, the friend confessed to knowing more than he had originally stated. He claimed that on multiple occasions Bill Sparkman told him that he wanted to commit suicide, as he believed his cancer was returning and he did not want to go through therapy again or experience a slow death. There are other motives to support this theory. Sparkman had missed out on a teaching job, which friends had made him visibly upset. His home was in foreclosure, and it was found out that he was more than $50,000 in debt. He had asked a friend for help and revealed that he was planning to stage the suicide so it looked like a homicide, so that his life insurance could be collected. He would often talk about the residents of Clay County being anti-government. The friend refused to help. He also told investigators that Sparkman had practiced attempting to suffocate himself. A second search of Sparkman's home found beams that upon examination showed that rope had been attached to them. This could potentially explain the older fracture to Sparkman's hyoid bone. A medical illustrator determined that the word fed had been written upside down, suggesting that Sparkman had written the letters on his chest himself. While the duct tape binding Sparkman's ankles was tightly wrapped, the duct tape around his wrists was loose. The fact that there was no forensic evidence at the scene other than Sparkman's led investigators to believe that the deceased did in fact commit suicide and staged it as a homicide so that his struggling loved ones could collect the life insurance. An investigator would comment about the positioning of Sparkman's body, saying that, to survive, all Sparkman had to do was stand up. In a sad end to this story of many twists, the medical examiner found that Sparkman's cancer had not returned and that he was not dying.